Hello,
Holy
everyone.
crap.
Welcome to the Untitled Sickos Project podcast, the only podcast where, you know what, Stealing McNeem is dead. I am Bears fan, uh, a fan of Bears, and fan of fans. Uh, with our actual four guests, we have some interesting news that we'll get to him last. But for our current core, how about we get our other introductions going?
Oh, sorry. I'm Carsausage, and I thought I had something in my throat. I didn't. Oops.
Hello, I am Nickman. I am a literal dust pile right now because I live in Vegas and there's a whole lot of heat going around.
I, I, hello
Luke.
everybody. I am the MaskedAura, and I hate hot weather. It's cold relief is coming next week, but I just hate hot weather. Summer's a sin. No one should like the summer.
That's for you bragging about being colder than Michigan, buddy. You get what you give,
Hey,
huh?
we're gonna be colder than Michigan just next week.
Yeah.
No,
And
no,
And
you're not.
anywho,
gonna be 24.
we have our we
Oh,
have a new member joining us. Welcome our new member. Would feel free to introduce yourself to the world.
Hey, it's Juggerbear. If y'all remember me, I was from the NFC South podcast, and they liked me enough to bring me on part-time. Also, the Yankees won today, so I'm in a good mood for once.
Yankees win.
Don't you
That's
don't
why,
you hear
that's why you
man?
see it.
You're now the second unpaid intern.
That's why his logo's a literal
Yippee.
JB.
Yeah, we gotta fix that logo, bro.
What do you mean?
I'll fix it. Don't you worry your pretty little Catholic head.
And see, the intern gets the JB logo. He just gets letters.
He rubs the
that
crappy
is your
logo
gift.
on his skin, or else he gets the hose again.
It's a J.
No.
I'll
But
get you.
yeah,
It's a J.
Is this a sacrilege? I don't know.
we love the Juggerbear enough that he is now in our double A affiliate known as Sickos Part Time. And then we
Yay.
have Sickos regular time, and then we have Sickos full time. You may ask what 1A is, and that's Sicko guest. But yeah, we loved him. We're bringing him on part time, and this introduces to our welcome mat. And I know we talked a little bit about you on your guest episode, but for this welcome mat, how about you tell the glorious world a little bit about you?
Well, today I'm probably the only IT guy who had a good day, because our system was like one of maybe 5 that wasn't broken. Other than that, I'm a Yankees fan, begrudgingly, thanks Dad. Saints fan, begrudgingly, thanks Mom. A Golden Knights fan, not begrudgingly, thank you Marc-Andre Fleury.
Nice.
Orlando Magic fan, because I don't know, they're close by, along with Orlando City, who doesn't suck anymore. That might change next week, but I'll be happy today.
Don't you also love Lionel Messi, or is that Miami?
That's
He's in
Miami.
Womp womp.
Womp
But
womp.
yeah, it's wonderful having you on. But Luke had a little bit that he wanted to say about college football before we get to our main welcome mat.
This is the You guys go. You and Nick go first. You and Nick go first. I'll go.
Alright.
Okay. Well, me and Nick, this is kind of bit serious, just because of how everything's been recently. But me and Nick were talking the other day, and we've just been kind of appalled at how the increase of athletes being complete fucking idiots have been recently. and this all
Just look
sort
at
of
the entire
stems.
Georgia State program, but sorry for interrupting.
No, you're fine. This is a welcome mat. Feel free to open your mind. That doesn't get us canceled off Twitter. But
Feel free to open your mind and then, with
Open
a nice
your
trepidation.
mind.
But yeah, this all kind of stemmed from the whole Kyrie Jackson situation, and it made me sick to my stomach to see, his teammates, Jordan Addison, well, teammate on the Vikings at the time, just go out and and get a DUI, and that's just the fact of the matter is someone had his life taken away from him because of an action that you were doing. And it's just it brought a little bit of a bad taste to my mouth.
Yeah, I mean, it just really pisses me off, and the reason we decided to make this the welcome mat is just, it's been a very common trend as of late, just seeing so many athletes, especially football players, getting arrested for, things like drunk driving and all that. I mean, as already noted, like, the entire Georgia football team has basically become a meme for the fact that their players are getting arrested all the time. And obviously with the, Jordan Addison situation, like, I know he got in trouble last year, but at the very least that seemed more like an emergency, which is why he was driving so fast. But this year it's just like, dude, that's inexcusable. Like, you just lost your teammate. You just lost your teammate because some idiot was driving under the influence, driving drunk, and that costed them their life. And you decide not too long after, you know what? I'm just gonna go out there and be an idiot out there, and possibly not just danger my life, but also danger others. And it's just, it's just an awful situation for everyone involved. It's an awful look for, many football players in general, because it feels like this has been an issue that just keeps on getting worse and worse.
And
Not to mention too.
to be clear, as a Vikings fan, I do not condone this at all. Like, this is absolutely, like, terrible, and I'll say my piece on this later.
I was gonna say this too. You're driving in LAX. That is one of the busiest places in the world in terms of traffic, and you're driving drunk. Like, you can say as much, oh, it was dark outside, like not many people are gonna drive. The fact of the matter is, LAX will still be busy whether it's 5 p.m. during the day or it's 2 a.m. at night. That's sick. That's sick. And not to mention too, we've seen like this isn't just like a one-time thing. Like Kareem Hunt, like Henry Ruggs, Brandon McManus, like and like even to coaches too, like Urban Meyer kicking your kicker, like it's just it's so frustrating.
Perhaps
Yeah,
Urban
and
Meyer was trying to warn us.
And, I mean, the fact that it's nearly been, 3 years since the whole Henry Ruggs situation, the fact that it feels like things have only gotten worse with this, it's a really bad look. It's a really bad sign of things to come. And I feel like, I hate to say it, but if the NFL, or, football in general doesn't make any, like, they don't start enforcing stuff to prevent this from happening, or, make it very clear to athletes, hey, you want to be an idiot, you're going to get in serious trouble for this, then I fear we might see another Henry Ruggs situation. I fear we might see it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to add anything to the topic, Juggerbear?
Not, I mean, all I can really add to the topic is don't be an idiot. If you're intoxicated, just get an Uber. This stuff should be basic knowledge, especially in the modern day where it's just so easy to get a ride share, get a taxi, get whatever you need.
Mm-hmm.
Or, just don't drink the devil's nectar. I just find it so dumb that you're making a lot of money in the NFL. You are peddled by coaches. you get like again Jordan Addison, right, was a first
Jordan,
round
yes.
pick. You get sent to a seminar about the dangers of doing this kind of stuff. It's gotta hit, you know.
Yeah, because otherwise, like, how ineffectual is that thing?
I
Not
say
to mention,
it is,
too,
but it
we
isn't.
forgot players like Rashid Rice. Like, didn't he get caught for, like, doing illegal drag races a while ago? Or whatever it was?
He got caught, was street racing on a busy highway.
Right.
I do wonder how much of this is because, football is such a high adrenaline sport. It's basically these guys trying to catch the same adrenaline rush as you would get on the field. Like, I know it's bad to make excuses for this kind of behavior, but
like,
that's just me playing like armchair psychologist or something.
I mean, it's the kind of thing I see where it's like, someone who is, I hate to talk like this. I hate to bring up things like this, but it kind of reminds me of when, someone, like, if it's something like a football player or an athlete or, like an MMA fighter, like a wrestler, they deal with a lot of injuries, and it's like they get addicted to things like painkillers and all that, and, it makes them feel better after a while, but they can't stop doing it, and, it does give me similar, kind of some of those vibes, honestly. Like, it gives me some of, it's some of that, like, in terms of, like, it's really messed up. It's really messed up that, I even have to say stuff like this, that even has to be considered when we're talking about this, but it's just the whole, something is very wrong here, and it's not getting any better, and it's sad to see.
It is.
All right,
it's because like my thing with it is I find it's a mix of it's the off season. Players are just bored, and I feel like a lot of guys are just. The men tend to be more attracted to souped up cars, right? Instead of
video games.
Video games, maybe just starting families. More just trying to find that quiet life. I just find a lot of young players don't know how to handle.
Hey, be careful about starting a family until.
Well, like what it means, like by like settling down, right? You're at that stage. You're 23, 24, and there's got to be stuff that you got to be going and thinking at the back of your mind that you got to do. And I think a lot of guys they get money, they get these cars. And then you think, oh, why don't we race the cars without, any thought of, because there are drag strips where you can just burn rubber with your souped up cars. There are places for that.
And I'm not thinking of like slowing down, like settling down until I'm like 30, because like.
Well, us 30, dude. I'm not having kids until I'm like 35.
Plus, I'm just not emotionally ready to have the responsibility of children,
and you see, that's fine, but I think a lot of these guys, like, especially your first round pick, you've won the lottery. Like, look at JJ McCarthy's contract. It's worth, what was the signing bonus, like around $20 million?
Yeah.
That's that, if I got signed a check for $20 million, I'm starting a family right now. I'm married, dude. I'm basically married at this point.
Yeah, you and me, we're not the same.
It's philosophy. We're not the same philosophically, and that's understandable. We each do things very differently, and we see things at a different light. I see it as
and that's okay.
You got the money. You gotta, like, I'm pretty sure Jordan Addison's got like a crap load of money. There's something's gotta be said when you gotta, settle, like, at least be in a house, be around friends. You go, since you're loaded, you guys would, go out and do stuff and go to the do activities instead of,
And my counterpoint is, if you can't be trusted to not get behind the wheel while you're plastered or half asleep, how on earth can I trust you to rear a child
That is
responsibly?
true. That is true. And then at the end of the day, like a lot of these players, they should be growing up, right? It's time. You're not in college. You're at a NFL level. It's time to grow up, and that's, it's something that I hate to say because it's something that I got plastered with, growing up and everything. But I think these young players need to realize that, hey, you're at this NFL level. Sure, there's a level of professionalism that I think your organization would like you to exhibit, but at the same time, you need to demonstrate that you are ready for the next level, because for the next stage of your life. Like, it's a fun time to be young, right? There's a time and a place to be young. And there's a time and a place to be racing your souped up cars. The highway is not one of them.
I just kind of want to end it off with this, and it's more of a quote. I had someone told me a while ago this, and it made more sense as time goes on. The worst thing a man can have is too much time on their hands.
Oh shoot! I was actually gonna take this conversation into a little bit of a different thing. Like
I can agree to that. Yeah.
to
I do
me,
agree with that quote.
yeah, I agree. Personally, it's just I also think the fact that we have so much drunk driving and reckless driving in this country, not just with NFL players, but it seems like with the general populace as well. I think that reflects rather negatively on our car culture, and I know one more lane is a meme on this channel, but I genuinely think that we need to focus on more transit-based alternatives so people have the option to not be on the road if they, prove to be a clear and present danger to other motorists on the highway.
Well, you
I
mentioned
agree.
how it's a general problem, which is definitely true, and I can attest to that because living in Vegas, you can imagine how many drunk drivers there are in this city and how much of a problem DUIs have been over the many years that many people have come to Vegas and get wasted.
And I want to go off of Spencer's
Still.
point. For better public transit, we need to be in a culture where public transit should be an absolute priority, because it benefits the citizens a lot more than you think. Just flat out, this is just an example that recently happened to me, and I was debating on whether or not we make a short of it, and instead of one more lane, bro, we need one more bus, bro, for the bus route. And there is an amazing bus that is the Fraser Valley Express 66. It runs from Chilliwack all the way to Port Coquitlam. Fantastic bus, right? It comes about every 45 minutes on the week on like prime busy days. On paper, it's amazing, but the bus is always about 80% full by the time it reaches Abbotsford. And after the stop, after High Street Mall, we're like packed in like sardines. Like, it is packed.
That's crazy because, like, to me, that's a good problem to have because it means people are using the route. Because when I use the local public transportation where I am, I'm lucky if that bus is like 20%, like 10 to 20% full, where it's like there's only 5 people on the entire bus.
Because, like, you get a couple concern. Like there's a couple. It always makes you feel uneasy because as highways are as crazy as they can be, you are one accident away from a major lawsuit if you're that bus company, because the buses are just your standard in-city bus routes, right?
Yeah.
Right. Imagine that all the seats are full and everybody is standing. You're that packed in, right? Like
I think
it's completely dangerous. And that's not the problem that I had. I'm still able to get to Langley to go on my mom's, no problem. But the problem is, on the way home, and this usually, it tends to not be a problem, the stop that when we get on in Langley, the bus is already packed. We're packed like sardines. And that's just after the first stop going back to Chilliwack. Because we know that about 80% of that bus is getting off at high streets. So I kept thinking, for the longest time, why didn't they have these double-decker buses where you can double the capacity of the amount of people you're fielding from place to place? Because on Monday, we got denied entrance into the bus because it was full. And we both and me and my fiance had to work the next day.
For the record, it isn't, double-decker that's the move in public transit. It's articulated, where you take two bus carriages and you attach them with an accordion. Anyway, Taegan was going to suggest something.
It was basically
I think
bus with 2 levels. That's what they need. You double the amount of people you can carry from point to point. And
I'll show you a picture of an articulated bus.
I know what the accordion ones are. They have them in Langley. They run some, I went and I just compared this to the Langley Transit. I was able to go from Langley to Surrey for $3 and back without delays.
Yeah, anyway, Taegan thinks?
I think celebrities need to use their private jets more so there's more room on buses. # one more private jet.
Oh,
We
God.
need more private jets in
Oh,
the air.
brother!
I don't
God,
care.
thanks.
Taylor
We
Swift
need
approves
more
this
private
message.
jets. We need more. I don't care about our air. I want all the celebrities in the air so that way there's more room on the buses for me. So that way when we're making one more lane, I can have a nice clean lane going from Carbondale, Illinois straight up to Green Bay, Wisconsin. That's what I want.
Oh my
And I'm
God!
tired.
Oh my
Tired of
God!
people saying that it's not possible.
Fuck you, dude!
Celebrities, use that jet fuel. Be in the air for however long you must.
God damn
Let
it!
them be one more lane.
Good lord.
Why are you
Unrelated.
like this? Why the fuck are you like this?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Unrelated, but just to wrap this up on just a thing I saw today. This is unrelated to the whole conversation, but on the topic of buses, we had an RTC bus that like crashed near the airport today because someone must have messed up big because the bus, like the top of the bus crashed into the clearance sign thing. So
Oh, I thought
yeah,
I thought it was about Microsoft having a bit of a ruh-roh raggy.
to be fair, when I first saw it, I was like, oh god, does it have something to do with Microsoft? But then I saw the video and it's like, oh, it just crashed into the top of it just did one of those like things those truck drivers do where they just crash into the clearance sign and bring the whole thing down.
Oh, are you talking like 11foot8.com?
Yeah.
To quote Steve Jobs from Epic Rap Battles of History, I have to bring up some basic shit. Why did you name your company after your dick? Moving on to College Football 25, a quick loot, your thoughts.
This game has changed my life. I'll do a full review probably after in about 2-3 weeks. I think 2 weeks. No, 3 weeks. I'm still
No,
trying to.
4. No, 5.
No, I won't be here right now. Whenever I'm here next, I'll be able to get more time into Dynasty. But early impressions, if you really want to get to see how, just how cool this game is, go on the road, go to any traditional top school. That's the top school, and just
Bama, Georgia.
Just go to Bama, Georgia, LSU, anywhere with Ohio
Clemson.
State, with like a rowdy crowd, and try to play with any college. It's so fun. Everything, it's a complete gong show. Your plays are jumping around when you're trying to decipher everything. Just the atmosphere is absolutely incredible. That's something that you have to do to really.
Wait, EA Sports made a good game?
It is good. I want to get I think the real experience of college football is Dynasty. I currently did Road to Glory as a 2-star blue chip prospect. I basically rode the bench my entire freshman year. I was a redshirt, so I was a full-time starter year 2, transferred to Washington year 3, and was still a full-time starter. You got to learn how to manage your time very well, and you can't, because I've seen people do the 2-star blue chips and go to Ohio State and never see the field for 3 years, and I just keep laughing because we're gonna see the field in 3 years.
Get ready to learn academics, bucko.
Get ready.
You're gonna be strapped in for the long haul.
Mm-hmm. I was able to. I did the 2-star thinking, oh, haha, it's gonna be funny. It's not that hard actually. I was able to. I played my freshman year. I played an entire quarter of the bowl game, the last quarter, and then I was the full-time starter at North Texas for a full season. And then transferred to Washington and played a full season there. I'm currently on year 4. And my first experience with the crowd atmosphere was at USC, and holy shit, that was so much fun. That was a lot of fun to play in. It's a lot of fun. I'm currently doing a Dynasty rebuild of Old Dominion. And Taegan and I are eventually going to do a Dynasty rebuild of, what was it? Northern...
Actually,
NIU?
since Team Builder has came out, there's another school that I want us to rebuild.
Is it
And
Spoon
they're
River?
near No, it's a. They haven't won a game since 2021.
Who?
The Western Illinois University Leathernecks.
And I am so crap online, man. I'm trying to grind out the Road to CFP challenge so I can just get these stupid trophies for the platinum, and I just...
Oh, are you grinding up Oh, no.
We're not gamers. We're not gamers.
I am incredibly casual. I am...
Look, I'm over here playing the original Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
I also was able to use my old Pokemon Battle League logo for one of my dynasties. Although Stadium Builder, Team Builder is currently really broken right now. I thought I was going to play them, but it just forced me to play as Vanderbilt, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" I thought I was playing with the Wichita Beedrills. What the hell is this? This isn't. So it's a little bit bugged right now, and there hasn't been a day 1 patch yet.
Get ready to learn Vandy, buddy.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I'll wait till there's a couple bug fixes for this.
I guess you could say the game is a bit Vanderbroken.
My one gripe is that I had to fucking have PSN Plus to fucking use my team. I could not use their cloud services for a normal offline rebuild mode. That is garbage. That is trash. That is absolutely garbage. But fine. I imagine I was eventually going to do some... I imagine at some point I was going to do an online Dynasty mode anyways, and who knows what NHL is going to be cooking this year. So, we'll see. Anywho, I love that college
rambling
football.
Over.
Currently, I have it as an 8 out of 10 right now. Good game. EA did good. Next time, just add the Blue Sky Conference, please. I'm sad that
very-
the Blue Sky isn't in there.
Very excited to see how they treat Skate 4.
I hope they do good.
Thank you.
We can now...
Anywho, this is a sports podcast. We've been talking about stuff that's not
Everything
sports.
aside from sports, yeah.
Shut up! Skateboarding is a sport! Don't tell me what to do, Mom!
Tony Hawk.
football
Tony
is
Hawk isn't a real athlete.
College football technically is a real sport.
Fuck you, man!
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anywho, the AFC North, probably the best division in football. The only division where none of us can really go wrong with picking who's going first.
Is it weird that I think it's the NFC North? I think the NFC North is the best, but this is the AFC North.
This is the best of the AFC, at the very least.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But anywho, since we don't have a guest this go around, I have a random wheel spinning right now to determine who's going to be doing what. So, for our first team, we have the Cincinnati Bengals.
Ooh,
Which,
the Bengals.
Which I think them going 9-8 with a backup quarterback who still played his heart out is a good enough sign to say I think this team might be the greatest last place team of all time. In terms of last year. But this is this year now, and all I can say is T. Higgins is going to be here for one more year. We don't know how long he's going to be staying for, but T. Higgins will at least be here for one more year. And for the most part, I think that, if Joe Burrow can be healthy, easily can win 13 games.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the big question about the Bengals is Joe Burrow going to be healthy? If they have a Joe Burrow, they're going to go far. If they don't, well, good luck.
I feel like for the Bengals, I'm more interested in what they're going to do with T. Higgins. Because we all know that the number one guy is going to be Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is going to be he's going to have a stretch where he's going to be a top 5 wide receiver for 2 to 3 seasons. He's going to have that stretch. And
who is this guy?
Jamar Chase.
I don't know him.
What?
No, I mean, there's a mysterious man on the podcast.
Oh, it's Ozza.
Yeah, no, my stuff was cutting off here and there. Hello. I'm sorry.
That's all good. Anyways, back to the conversation. So, it's all on, to me, Jamar Chase. And the thing about Jamar Chase is I think he's going to have a stretch in his career where he's going to be widely regarded as a top 5 wide receiver. And T. Higgins has always been an excellent complementary piece towards Jamar Chase. That's how it's always been since he was they drafted Chase. I've always liked T. Higgins, but the problem is, you look at this year with the salary cap, and the salary cap, what could be looking like in the offseason, it might not go up by $30 million. I think it's going to go up, but with the lawsuit with the NFL Sunday Ticket, it's not going to go up by as much as people think it's going to go up like it did. I think it was a boon that the salary cap went up by $30 million. I think it saved a lot of teams that had, a lot of questions going into the off season, but it really depends on. I think it's last year of T. Higgins in Cincinnati. He's gonna make a lot of money being an incredible number 1 wide receiver for somebody else, but I don't think it's gonna be for Cincinnati. Joe Burrow, We're gonna find out soon what the NFL balance patch, aka training camp injuries, is going to provide. Cause fun fact, Joe Burrow says he's never had a full training camp where he's been healthy.
What's wrong?
He's never had a full training camp where he's been healthy.
Yeah, yeah, literally, he's never had one.
He's never...
Yeah, never. Sorry. I got distracted because Jugger said what the.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that insane? He's never had a fully healthy training camp where he's been healthy every day. He hasn't had one. So the Bengals have started off slow every single season since they've had drafted Joe Burrow. And
Is it time to maybe start calling him Joe Glass? Or
No.
Not quite.
Glass
Joe Rum?
Joe. It's Glass Joe.
Glass Joe. Yeah.
Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
that or Joe Romo.
Well, it's weird that it's this consistent, but he's always played week 1. But he's had an injury that has notably kept him out for a period of time every single season. So I'm hoping that he stays healthy, because if he doesn't stay healthy, then oh boy.
Yeah. Because, the thing with the Bengals is I don't really have much to say in terms of, a lot of what was here last season is still here. And, the fact that the Bengals still had a winning record even after, Joe Burrow had his injury, the fact that they, still had a winning record, that's pretty impressive. It's more just, with the Bengals this season, I just want to see Joe Burrow healthy. I just want to see... I'm just waiting to see how the Bengals look this season with Joe Burrow, because it's we know how good the Bengals can be when he's out there. We all know. Just, it's a matter of, okay, just hopefully injuries don't affect him this season, and, he can play a full season again. I guess if there is some things to note with the Bengals roster, they brought Zach Moss in for their running back, which I think is a nice move. And I guess the biggest change this offseason was having a new offensive coordinator, because as you know, Brian Callahan left to become the head coach of the Titans. So they promoted Dan Pitcher, who before this season was the quarterback coach for the Bengals from 2020 to 2023. So yeah, some interesting development with that. Going to be interesting to see how that translates to play calling and all that.
Damn, that motherfucker had a Hellcat over there. Just
Not
loud as shit, Revan.
Not to mention too, just it seems like the only team that can beat the Chiefs is the Bengals, and I get that even then their record has been 3-3 for the most part. But even then, it's awkward to think that the Bengals are the closest team to being Patrick Mahomes' kryptonite.
Yeah.
I get that we say Josh Allen's the greatest QB, after Mahomes, but I really don't think we give Joe Burrow enough credit, because whenever he's playing against Mahomes, it's like Mahomes has kryptonite and he can't win.
Yeah,
So,
because we know they beat them in 2021, and they had them on the ropes in the 2023 AFC title game too.
I think the best way to compare if Mahomes is Brady, obviously Josh Allen is his Peyton Manning, and I think Joe Burrow and the Bengals are probably Mahomes' version of the Broncos against Brady, which even when they were trotting out shit like Jake the Snake, they still gave Brady a good scare.
Also, not to mention too, but since 2000, the Bengals have led the Chiefs in victories 9-5. So statistically, the Bengals are more likely to beat the Chiefs than most other teams in terms of 2000s. But I think other than that, the other thing that you have to say is like you gotta hope that defense is healthy. Like last year, that defense had a good bit of injuries, and you really saw it in their cornerback core. Like I vividly remember the George Pickens touchdown. I think it was on like the it was either on Christmas Eve or like the day before, because I remember not watching the game, but I remember being on fantasy football and looking at the live time. And while I was getting my mozzarella sticks from Arby's, I saw that George Pickens had like an 86-yard touchdown, and I was like, "Oh, that's an interesting thing to see while at an Arby's drive-through."
Yeah, for the record, that was on December 23rd of last year, so right before Christmas.
I
Yeah, I was
remember
gonna
that
say
because that was when I was like, oh, my Arby's.
yeah, and that was the yeah. I was gonna say that's also the. It's also strange to think that I was having Arby's like 2 days before Christmas. That's like the last place you think you would eat before Christmas, like 2 days before Christmas.
Merry Christmas, here's the beef and cheddar, you fuck.
But I mean, the best way to say the Bengals, I personally think, is Arby's. You know, a lot of people sleep on it, but they just have that something about them that really tickles my fancy and makes me come back wanting for more.
Like the Jamocha
Plus, Evan
shakes, man.
McPherson jammed out to Eminem at the halftime show, and that still is one of the coolest things ever.
Of course you think that.
But are we ready for floors and ceilings?
Yes.
Well, for you can go ahead, Spencer.
No, I was about to make a very dumb joke of, well, my floor is made of, stained wood, and my ceiling appears to be a popcorn ceiling made of plaster, and, but no, my ceiling's
So what-
12, and my floor is, my floor is 9.
What you're saying is your floor is curly fries, and your season, is Angus burger from Arby's. I gotcha. For me personally, their floor is just 9. Like we saw what happens last year when Joe Burrow goes down. They
Stop
can
the
still
intake.
fight. And I'm just gonna say this now: if we're going to like give greatest backup QB of all time like stats, I think we got to give it to
Jake Brown?
the goat of last. Yeah, we got to give it to I'm gonna brown. But
I'm a
I
shit
think
sheet!
I think their ceiling is 15 wins.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Although I will say, still not your spiciest take of this preview.
What the fuck was that?
Sorry.
Someone
what he
just
meant to
fucking lit off a firework. Like it's not even the 4th of July. Why are you still lighting out fireworks?
Bro, it's July 19th.
I believed you meant
It's
to
not
say
even...
like what the fuck?
What the Sigma?
You know, trying to pay our smiling friends tax here at
Yeah, which is fireworks in a nutshell. Anyways, my floor, if things go wrong again, the Bengals will find a way to they'll find a way to get many wins out of their ass. Like I think floor will be 8. Ceiling, I'm going 13.
Alright.
I'm gonna go.
Oh no. Officer Dick has arrived.
I'm gonna go 7.
Juggerbear?
Your floor and
For the
ceiling?
Bengals, floor and ceiling, floor probably around 9 wins. I agree there. With the ceiling, I think they can get 12, 13 wins, maybe even 14.
Alright, I'm gonna give the Bengals 7 as their floor. We got game film on Jake Browning right now. That's surely the only reason. There's no film on it. They pretty sure coordinators
That's
are
the
gonna.
second fucking fireworks. Stop lighting off fireworks. It's July 19th. Sorry.
Yeah, this is an untitled project. This is a side video.
Yep.
Nickman, we're adding to your pile. Chop chop.
Oh my god.
I mean, I might be able to do like the worst recording of it. But their ceiling is 14, 14 to 15. This team is too damn good. If everybody is healthy, they got the most talent. I think they are the right kryptonite to Kansas City, and we should see them again very soon.
Alrighty. Back to the wheel we go. And we get... We get the Stellar. The Stellar.
Oh fuck.
Oh.
Anywho, there's nothing to talk about with this team, you know.
They're more.
They have nothing to talk about. I mean, they have Justin Fields and they have Russell Wilson. I mean, there's nothing really to say about this team other
But
than
Taegan,
you know.
Taegan, they have the Buckies man as the offensive coordinator now.
Arthur Smith.
Oh right, yeah, they're fucked. The thing is, it's like I feel like Russell Wilson and Justin Fields don't have, you know, that much of a ceiling like they used to have. I don't think that ceiling is there. Russell Wilson, I mean, he played one of his better years for Denver of the two he played, but like it still wasn't that impressive. Their O-line's a bunch of question marks. They have, I think, the worst way to end the season. I think that's going to be one hell of a struggle. I'm not so huge on the Steelers. I think
even we all know that Mike Tomlin is going to drag this team kicking and screaming to a 9-8 record.
I think this is going to be the first year where the Steelers win less than 5 games this year.
No way.
No. If that couldn't happen last season, when they were having to plot out Mitch Trubisky as quarterback, that's not happening this season.
Yeah, the two-headed...
We have to remember, okay, the Steelers, for as ugly as they have been, as ugly as they have been to watch over the years, especially with how bad their quarterback play has been for many years now, the fact of the matter is, if Russell Wilson, or God forbid Justin Fields, can even be average, that would probably be the best quarterback play the Steelers have had since really Big Ben was still around, and that's saying something because we know how bad these past couple of years have been when Big Ben officially became washed, and of course Kenny Pickett didn't pan out to the point where you were having to start Mason Rudolph on a weekly basis. Now, the way I see it with Pittsburgh, you do have a running game because I think Najee Harris gets better as the season goes on from what I've seen, and you do have Jaylen Warren who had a strong season last year, so running game, you do have that. I mean, you have George Pickens. I mean, if Roman Wilson can have a nice rookie season, that'd be good for them. And, I mean, I will say this, the Steelers front office made moves this offseason. They were much more aggressive than you'd really ever see the Steelers front office, usually being. Like, they definitely made a lot more moves this offseason, and I feel like, it does tell me that, okay, yeah, the Steelers definitely know they got to start getting some results. They got to get more results, and yes, I know they gave Mike Tomlin contract extension. They gave him that because why not? Why not keep the memes going? We love to see it, but at this rate, I just feel like the Steelers are, until the day it doesn't happen, the Steelers are destined to be in the 9 to 10 win range. Until the day it doesn't happen, that's just the way the Steelers will operate. They'll either go 9-8 or 10-7 and lose in the first round. And that's the way I see it with this team right now. There are plenty of moves that I like that they did this offseason that I usually wouldn't expect from the Steelers. But at the same time, until they prove me wrong, they are a 9-8 team that will get bounced in the first round.
Yeah.
Kind of jump in here real quick. Luke, quit having a Taegan take. That's my job. Quit trying to steal my flow. Second thing second. As much as we want to congratulate the Steelers for making good moves, there is one move that kind of has me sort of ticked, and that's trading Deontay Johnson for Dante Jackson. You're trading away a pretty high-end wide receiver who, even though he doesn't score a lot, he still gets yardage for another cornerback that you already have a good cornerback room for. That's there. I get the saying, "Oh, you can't have too many arms." Well, there's a difference. Like, if I'm owning like 6 assault rifles, why am I trading my prized luxury coin for another assault rifle? Like,
Because
that doesn't make
freedom,
sense.
Taken. Because the Obama's gonna take your guns away one of these days.
Yeah,
Man.
I'm gonna take your goons away.
But
The
like,
guns
I
don't
don't
kill
know.
people. The government does.
But back to this. It's just I didn't like that, and I think that's kind of one of like the biggest like L trades that no one's talked about, because like Deontay Johnson is a guy that's going to be a great help for Bryce Young. Dante Jackson might be cornerback 4. That's just how I view it. But I do kind of want to get Juggerbear's thoughts on the Steelers here real quick.
I think the Steelers are a very interesting team, though. I mean, they got Caleb Williamson. We know he's good from last year with the Bears when he started to really kind of bloom.
Justin Fields.
Justin
You
Fields,
mean-
my bad.
Oh,
I got fully
newest
screwed up.
Bears
Steelers-
quarterback.
Steelers legend Caleb Williams.
Yeah,
Caleb Williamson.
dude.
Caleb Williamson. Let's go.
I'm forgetting. I know they got one other piece this offseason, but I'm forgetting it.
Was it the offensive tackle?
Maybe. Anyway, I think their ceiling, if we're at that point now. I don't know. I feel a little bullish. I think they can maybe squeak 11 wins if everything works out well for them. Floor, glorious mediocrity. You know. Oh shoot, I am like absolutely crapping myself here. Right around 500 if they're crap.
Bro is
Just go
shitting
9-8.
himself. Wow.
Bro got locked in the Minecraft dungeon
I
and
got
he
locked.
cannot get out.
I got locked in the walls of Jericho there. Okay, I am so sorry.
Bro, buddy,
Bro was
buddy
in the
out here-
lion's den with Daniel, bro.
buddy out here getting coquina clutched in the clutch right now.
Oh my god.
Bro smoked too much and now is a veggie tail.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, my floor and ceiling. Floor 9. Ceiling. Why not 9?
All right, time to take Taegan's thunder.
Oh no.
I'm sorry, Taegan. The thing is, I feel like
Hello everyone, I am Masked fan. And
No, you gotta
alongside
sit-
my cohort
you
Bear
gotta
Aura.
say it like
Wait for him to
Godfrey.
finish, wait for him to finish, wait
Let-
for him to
let's
finish.
Let's finish. Okay. The thing about the Steelers is, I understand that they have a very good defense. It's extreme. They have an extremely talented group of players. And the thing is, it just doesn't sell me. It's just their end of the schedule. And their end of the season schedule, I feel like if they don't start out to the gate with start to get strong, I feel like things are gonna fall apart very quickly. I think we're gonna be seeing a the rotation of Wilson and Justin Fields. I want Russell Wilson to exceed more than anybody in this world, but
Really? Even yourself?
dude, Wilson will always be a Seahawk legend in my heart. Always.
I'm just saying, you don't want yourself to.
Okay, let's let me finish. I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm gonna give their floor, and this is their floor, 5 wins as their floor. I think their ceiling is 9. I think Pittsburgh has been playing towards their ceiling every single season. In a weird way. I feel like they're playing to their season. I feel like to me, it's 9 wins and getting booted in the wild card round. That's just how I see
to be
Pittsburgh.
fair, the Steelers, if there's anything I've learned, it's that anything's possible, because this is the same team that last season lost in back-to-back weeks at home to the Arizona Cardinals and the New England Patriots and still made the playoffs. Actually, not even back-to-back weeks. They lost to them in a span of 5 days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and
Fun fact: Steelers Patriots was the first game I've ever seen at a bar.
congratulations, I think. You're becoming a man in front of our very own eyes.
Anywho, time for me to show my manliness. Steelers ceiling, IDK 10 wins if they truly get lucky magic. I think their floor, I think they can easily lose 5 games. I think they can easily win only 5 games this year.
See, Taegan agrees with me.
For me, I think they're pretty much driving right towards a 9-8 season. Like that. Like scene from Holes where they want to stop, where the kids want to stop digging. That's this team and going 9-8. Mr. Tomlin, I don't want to go 9-8. Well, it's too damn bad.
Mr. 9-8 is inevitable.
Anywho, Spencer, did you get your predictions?
Yeah. Floor ceiling 9-8.
Oh, they're both together. All right, time for the next team. Ba-dun-da-dun, 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 ba-dun-da-dun. We get the Cleveland Browns. And I feel like we should let Juggerbear start this one out.
The Cleveland Browns are still stuck in the Russell Wilson experience, and I don't know if
Deshaun Watson experiment.
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun
Oh my
Watson.
goodness.
Remember, 2
The
guys on...
Deshaun
It's
one.
okay, just
Buddy
listen,
is
I think the
locked in the
opposite.
nether.
I've had
He
2
is
leg
locked
balls.
in the nether.
I'm not just in the walls of Jericho. I'm at like Hell in a Cell with Prime Undertaker. I'm about to get Mick Foley'd here.
All you just gotta think is just
Buddy
think the opposite.
flies.
Just think the opposite.
Yeah,
This
buddy.
is,
You've
way.
actually been demoted to
Bro, I'm demoted to the frickin' stands already. They give me a season ticket.
Sickcos season ticket holder. Sorry, you have to find out this way.
Anyways.
But what about Russell Wilson? I mean, oh my God.
Remember, Taegan, think the opposite.
Deshaun Watson, kitchen's closed, he sucks. They're going to be either mid as their ceiling or awful if their freaking basement falls out from them.
Do you want to know what the thing that pisses me off the most is that, remember way back when Cleveland thought they fleeced Houston, only for Houston to fleece them right the back?
Yeah.
It's
Folks, he said fuck, by the way.
right, but you see the point. You see where the correlation is. Deshaun Watson, in his Cleveland Brown tenure, has played 13 games of, let's see, what was it? 34. Let's just for funsies. Let's just calculate the percentage of that. Let's go. Let's see. Windows calculator.
Another fucking firework. I swear to God, I'm going to find where these people are, and I'm just going to throw them away. Can I please stop having fireworks during my show? Like, come on. Come on,
I
dude.
can't-
Like,
We can't hear any of it. We can't.
I can't even hear them.
Yeah, that's
I
the
can't
funniest part. We can't hear any of it. That's the funniest part of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I
Deshaun
swear.
Watson has played 38.2% of all games that he's been dressed as a Cleveland Brown. That, to me, is the most embarrassing stat line that I think you can think of. You guys sent 3 first-round picks to the Houston Texans for a guy, and you know what? I'm going to be stretching it here. For in the past 3 seasons, sorry, my bad, 3 seasons, has played a grand total of 12% of all games active, and you're still considering him your starting quarterback. You can't move off of him because you've made him restructure his content, so they're paying him $63 million fully guaranteed.
Actually, I do have one more embarrassing stat. I think I have a stat that's almost as embarrassing.
What's
Joe
that?
Flacco has 1 less touchdown than Deshaun Watson.
Oh,
As
fuck.
much as I want to, in the end, holy shit, Deshaun Watson's been in the NFL for 7-8 years. Man.
Yeah.
By the way, he played games. Watson has played 13.
Ugh.
Oh.
Yeah. That's just
Yeah.
more disheartening facts.
Act-
The thing about it, I feel like the NFL is enacting its glorious karma policy. A beautiful policy with its karma, given how just bad
Laser
Deshaun Watson
Geigen.
has been, just how few games he's played. The only thing that they should have at peace knowing, Joe Flacco was the backup for the Colts.
I did.
Yeah,
Right?
you know
Yeah,
who's the
famous
backup?
Jameis time. It's famous
Oh
Jameis.
It's Rapist
God.
Wilson. It's Rapist Winston.
Oh my god, that's no.
So yeah, they got
Rapist Winston and Bill and Deshaun
Deshaun Cosby.
Oh my god, that is a quarterback room of
Is
all time.
You know, they
can
should
we
get
save-
Roethlisberger to be their quarterbacks coach.
Honest question, can we save Kevin Stefanski and have him coach the Giants, please?
No,
I'm
no,
coach the
because
Jets.
Stefanski is complicit in all this. I have no sympathy for the man. He said, I trust Deshaun Watson with my daughter.
Alrighty then.
That's messed up, but I also get that, like, dude, it's like, I also get that, like, look, he's gonna have to address it at some point, and yeah, you usually get ugly results like that. I don't like it, but unfortunately, that's the results you're usually gonna get. But if there's anything from the Browns that deserves saving, their defense, which was excellent last season, and why I think the Browns will, at the minimum, be very competitive, and their running back core, because they got Jerome Ford, who really stepped up big last year, and when Nick Chubb went down with that awful injury. And hey, Deontay Foreman's here. I wish he signed somewhere else, but you know what? Hi, Deontay Foreman.
It's crazy to think too that like Nick Chubb was like injured all of last year, and the Cleveland Browns still had a really solid running game. And I think a lot of that credit goes to their offensive line, which just in general, offensive lines aren't talked about as much. But if we're talking about like the truly most underrated like group of people in the NFL, I would say Cleveland's offensive line, because they had to block for immobile 39-year-old Joe Flacco, who is eligible to fall asleep out on the sidelines for more than 3 seconds. Actually, probably more than 5 seconds. People talk about the Sleepy Joe in office. The real Sleepy Joe is in Indianapolis now.
Yeah, Sleepy
But,
Joe Flacco or Elite Dragon Joe Biden.
yeah. But it's crazy to think for the most part, Cleveland will probably still be a winning record team this year, and that's solely just because they have the two things like a lot of old-fashioned football lovers love: stout defense, amazing offensive line.
And the
Granted,
guy
yeah,
who doesn't really treat women well. You know, old school football fans love that.
But like you get what I mean. Like, of course they have Amari Cooper, which like again, the fact that he got him for a 5th-round pick is a steal. But like even then, they got Jerry Jeudy too, which I like the trade for it. I don't like the contract. That's a really
That's a
gross
spicy
contract.
meatball. would
But
you
like
would you agree with that sentiment? That it's a
I
spicy
would.
meatball?
But like David and Njoku, like legitimately, this team is like decked from top to bottom. But like, it feels like the Browns have the Bears issue where they don't have the quarterback. You know, they had the quarterback, but they threw him away because they made him think that you had to play this in order to keep your job.
And they were
But
like,
like,
"Oh, we need an adult. How about somebody who got tried as an adult?"
yeah, it's just Cleveland is such a frustrating team because if this team probably sticks with Joe Flacco this year, I think they could easily win 10 games again. Granted, they might not make it far, but like Deshaun Watson has proven that that like 4 years later after all that stuff came out, he is not doing that great after sitting out for this long, and maybe
He's
that shows.
doing like so shitty and is so problematic. He's probably gonna get a Fox News special pretty soon.
I mean, the
But
thing
all in
that
all,
perplexes me about Deshaun Watson too is I felt like in the 2022 season, I saw a lot of what he could look like. And again, just looking at him as a player, off the field, he's a disgusting piece of shit, but it really looked like at the end of 2022, we were starting to see him look more like like his old self. But then after this year, it just brick wall. Brick fucking wall.
Well, I believe it. JoJo Siwa said it best. Karma's a bitch, baby.
It is.
well,
The player Deshaun, you're not gonna have any fans off the field. Deshaun, you should be in prison and donating every single penny of your contract, including taxes, to help fund cases to put convicted rapists behind bars.
I mean, it's just, the thing is, it's like the thing that, like the thing that really stands out is that, in the sports world, if you can play well, even if you are a disgusting piece of shit, people will definitely root for you, even if you are a piece of shit. But the fact of the matter is, Deshaun Watson hasn't even been able to do that. He hasn't even been able to play well. So now, not only are you considered a rapist, you are also a rapist that can't even play sport well.
You know what he is? He's Drake.
oh
gonna-
god.
Okay, I'm just gonna say, in terms of references, it's like, you know what? Listen, if he ever became friends with, like, I don't know, like, Gable Stevenson or something, I could see it happening. But that's just me.
Anywho, Mr. White Claw Man, give us your wise prediction from the booze for floors and ceilings. What is the booze telling you?
Hmm. Um, Deshaun Watson. Crap. Why am I?
Deshaun Watson
Come
and
back to me
Jameis
here in a sec.
Winston.
Will do. But my floor and ceiling, as he gets his wisdom from the elixir, um, the Browns.
Oh yeah, I already gave my wisdom here though. Where, I mean, elite quarterback Joe Flacco is probably no more. He is now Sleepy Joe, as we just discussed. Deshaun Watson is overcooked, and they're knocking on the door of a rebuild here. Their ceiling is going to be 9 wins at most. Wheels fall off. They could probably go down to 4 or 5.
I kind of agree, except I think their ceiling is 11 wins, solely just because defense wins football games. Their floor definitely 5 or 6, because if Miles Garrett gets hurt, bye bye. Amari Cooper, you can enjoy your 1,300-yard season, being mediocre.
Well, the Vikings could use a wide receiver too.
Don't you have Jordan Addison?
There's rumors we could cut that piece of shit.
But he's a first round
that's
draft
that.
pick.
Probably-
You're not cutting
We
him.
we talked about that already. I think we addressed that already. But yeah, that's for him to get his shit together. But anyways, floor and ceiling for me. Ceiling, I think, is 11 wins. Floor is 6. I think the Browns' defense is great enough where it will find a way for the Browns to win games where, it feels like it's going to be ugly, but it makes sense that, okay, you know what, the defense will find a way to win games here, because the Browns do have a great defense. However, with so many questions regarding quarterback play, it's very hard to see the Browns recapturing, the magic that they saw last season where they made the playoffs with basically a quarterback playing on his last legs. But yeah, six wins and 11 wins, that seems pretty fair.
Yeah. So my floor is 5 wins and Deshaun Watson starts all the games. And my ceiling is that it's 10 wins and we get some very funny Jameis Winston type football, and we get to see him in the playoffs throwing wicked interceptions.
No, here's what's gonna happen. They're gonna trade for Aiden O'Connell after Gardner Minshew balls out for the Raiders. Aiden O'Connell comes in week 10. They go undefeated. They start off 2-6. They end 10-7.
Yeah, but they have Mr. 30 for 30 on their team.
That's true.
You're not
Luke?
topping going 30 for 30.
Alright,
Former New Orleans Saint, by the way.
I think their floor is 4 wins. Fantastic defense is sure, but their quarterback situation is just such a shit show. I'm not confident in either one. Period. They're both unamazing. Even if you do Jameis Winston, he might do good for a game.
Oh, I'm not talking good. I'm talking funny.
Funny. We're
Excitement, at least interesting. It will be entertaining to watch.
That time the time he made the "this one's for you" God signal, and then proceeded to throw a pick 6.
I mean, the thing also too, Jerry Jeudy, dude's overrated. He's not. He couldn't figure his stuff. He's a diva wide receiver. That's not even good. He's not even good. He's a diva wide receiver that's not even good.
You say good like you're from Chicago. Like you're one of
So?
you're one of Bill Swirsky's guys.
So?
I'm not making a point. I just think it sounds funny.
It's the funny.
I think the funny thing to do is what's the over under for Deshaun Watson starting in terms of starting total games. I'm gonna start at 10.5. And what's the over under for Deshaun Watson? I think they have an interesting running game, but remember Nick Chubb is coming up with another major knee surgery. Sure, everything looks good, but how long is that gonna last though?
I don't
Right?
know, man. I saw him squatting a ton of pounds yesterday.
That's
I
true.
think that man could probably go through no man's land back in World War II, and I still think he'll come back and get over 1,000 yards.
I mean, the thing with Chubb is I don't like even if he comes back and even if he can be productive, even not to the level that he once was, which I don't think anyone should expect him to be with coming off yet another injury like that. I do think he'll probably have a reduced role, seeing that the Browns have they brought in Deontay Foreman and you also have Jerome Ford, so yeah, I don't see Chubb in as big of a role, as he once was, unless he miraculously can show that he's still, he can still be that guy, which, it would take a miracle for that to happen, but, I mean, hey, as long,
Stranger things have happened.
yeah, stranger things have happened.
And, personally, I see him, starting to move to places where they run more of a running back by committee, like San Francisco after this season.
Yeah, I could see it.
But
Thank you.
Forest
Well,
8
there's only
ceiling,
one more.
Forest 5 ceiling is 8.
Anyway, aren't you gonna spin the wheel one more time?
We don't need to
Wow, I wonder what we're going to land on. Do 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 do, and it lands on the Ravens. Before I begin, I did want to say this real quick though. I do think it's really funny. Y'all just glossed over the god of last year's Zach Moss. Just on the Bengals right now.
I did. I mentioned that.
You did.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, I guess I just glossed over it.
Bro,
It's okay.
Yeah, the
By the way,
Ravens.
I think they were trying to. I think the gods were trying to tell you that I mentioned it because your mic kept cutting in and out.
yeah, you were like,
Womp womp.
But anyways,
Sad. But yeah, the Ravens. Honestly, what can we say about this team that we haven't said about this team in 2022? That we haven't said about this team in 2021? That we haven't said about this team in 2020? That we hadn't said about this team in 2019?
oh, I know,
Like-
I know what we haven't said. This team's a real winner.
I feel. But
you know what? There is actually something we can talk about with the Ravens, because look, it's not a great sign when on the Wikipedia page there's a section dedicated to the amount of coaching changes they've had this offseason.
I mean, you can add Derrick Henry as much as you want to this team and make the best Madden team known to man. Well, the Madden roster known to man. But like in general, the Ravens have just been a story that's done to death. We all have to go through the same narratives until Lamar has proven them right. Lamar can't beat Mahomes in the playoffs. Lamar still hasn't have a great record in the playoffs. Lamar is electrifying during the regular season. Again, at the same time though, whenever it comes to the playoffs, Lamar can't do everything by himself. And
Lamar
if we have to
Fulvic.
talk about at the end of the day, it's like, what about like? I get Lamar's a great player, and he is. He is a. If he continues his career path as it is, first ballot Hall of Famer easily.
Yeah,
But I
for
think
sure.
it needs to be said: can Lamar do it? Can Lamar do it? And I think that's just the question I want to pose to everyone. Jugger, do you think Lamar can do it?
Shoot, can Lamar do it? He has the team. He has the head coach. I think he'll eventually pull it off. He has too much talent not to. Know what I mean?
I
Yeah.
do. It's just my issue with it. Like, when is that though? Like, when will he do it? Because we've said that year after year after year that Lamar's finally gonna beat Mahomes. And granted, he's done it in the regular season.
I don't
We
think
go
he's
to
gonna
the
ever beat
playoffs.
Mahomes. Mahomes is always gonna be better than him though, but he will certainly slice out his own niche of, football history. But will he do it in
Reasonable.
not October? No, January, February. Sometime for the next couple years, though. Maybe this year, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the one. I feel like the entire thing about the Ravens is you can talk about everyone you want, but like at the end of the day, the only real question is, can Lamar do it? And like, it's so tough to say that he can because I feel like he can.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I feel like he's shown that he can't. And I get he'll have a good long season. But we have to bring in the conversation too, like, can running quarterbacks win championships? We've never in our lifetime seen a running quarterback win a championship. Granted, we've had mobile quarterbacks win, like
Yeah.
Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes, but Lamar is a
Back in
running
my day,
quarterback.
Russell Wilson was a running quarterback.
But like, I guess that's just the one that I'm posing to everyone else here. What is the Lamar? What is the Lamar thought?
Like,
To me,
I think he can do it. I think Lamar can do it one day, but like the question, as many know, is when. It's a matter of when he does it, and the fact is, we don't know when he'll do it. Because I know this topic is, focused about Lamar, but I feel like the disappointing thing about the Ravens right now is that I felt like last season was their best shot. It was their best shot at a Super Bowl. And I mean, the fact that you lost so many guys on the coaching staff, especially defensively. I mean, you lost Mike McDonald to the Seahawks. You lost Denard Wilson to the Titans. You lost Anthony Weaver to the Dolphins. You lost so many defensive coaches, and now obviously, I mean, granted, Zachary Orr seems like a talented dude, but like, can he really fill that void that that was lost this season with the Ravens coaching staff? And obviously, going back to the question of Lamar, now that we mentioned the coaching staff, like, I like the dynamic that Lamar had last season with Todd Monken. There was very clearly some solid chemistry between the two, especially seeing how bad the relationship between Lamar and Greg Roman ended. So that's very nice to see. And we saw in the second season of Roman how Lamar had his best season of his career. And I'm interested in seeing how he does in his second season with Todd Monken because, I think he will. I think Lamar will be up there this season as long as he stays healthy. This will be one of his most talented seasons we've seen from Lamar in the NFL. But the question is, for me, is can Lamar, be consistently great enough, especially when, playoffs come around? And number two, look, I'm just going to say this. Is the wide receiver core good enough? Because I know people like to talk about the Ravens receiving core, but it's like, is it good enough? Because I like Zay Flowers. He had a great rookie season, and I think he's got serious potential, but, can he keep developing? I think he will. I think that's, probably one of the easier questions, but, like, my question for the rest of the Ravens receiving core is who else steps up? Because I know you got strong tight ends in Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, but, like, who's going to be that, undisputed wide receiver number 2 on this Ravens team? Is it going to be Devontae Walker, who they just drafted? I think he's a good draft pick that they had in one of the later rounds. Is it going to be, I don't know, Rashad Bateman, he's been a disappointment in his NFL career so far.
Nick, you're missing a guy. You're missing one of the greatest people of all time. We was catching them unlike Aguilar himself.
Yeah, I was gonna bring him up. I was about to bring him up. I mean, the thing is, like, look, there's some talented receivers here, but it's like, I need to see if there's a wide receiver 2 on this receiving core, because right now, I do think Flowers can be wide receiver 1, but I don't know if there's a wide receiver 2 behind him.
I think the thing is, like, we've seen it with Mahomes. You just need a decent wide receiver 1 and a elite tight end to get by. And you want to know what Mahomes has? He has exactly the same thing as Lamar has. Granted, Travis Kelce isn't like, Travis Kelce is like just better than Mark Andrews. That's just simple. But like, you also want to know something else. Derrick Henry is like miles better than Miles Pacheco. Not Miles Pacheco.
Isaiah Pacheco. Come on, dude.
Isaiah Pacheco. But
I mean,
like,
I like the Henry
thing
signing. Like, I do like that signing. I think he can still go, even if he's not at his peak. I think he can definitely still go. And the offense last year, where it felt like they were definitely focusing more on running, I think Henry will thrive in this offense. It's just, is it going to be good enough? Because I know we say, well, Mahomes succeeds in that, but it's Patrick Mahomes we're talking about. Is what the Ravens have here, is it good enough?
The Ravens and the Chiefs are the same team. I firmly believe that. They have everything matched together to a T. It's just the main issue with them is that I feel just like, Mahomes is just in another class than Lamar. And it's crazy to say that because Lamar is a top 5 quarterback in the league. He's a 2-time MVP winner. But yet he can't overcome Mahomes. And until there's a confirmed season where no one can argue that Lamar is better than Mahomes again, because I know 2019 Lamar was just a statistical anomaly, but like until we get that, I don't think Lamar will ever reach to that point.
Yeah, and guess who ended up getting a ring in 2019? Mahomes.
Yeah, and it's just fair to say, because once again, I'll bring it up. I think last season was their best shot. I really do believe last year was the time to pounce for the Ravens. And if it was not for a couple of mistakes, we could be talking about that Chiefs game much differently. But unfortunately, that's what happened out there, and the Ravens were dealt an AFC title loss, and now you lost a lot of coaches.
I think it's true in a sense that I kind of agree, but I also feel like the comparison that I hope Lamar will start to have will be to Peyton Manning. Because remember, Tom Brady always bested Peyton Manning in the early 2000s. Always did. What did it take for Peyton Manning to finally win the Lombardi? It was for somebody else to beat the Patriots. That's what it takes. I think
No, it didn't.
He did beat the Patriots though in
did?
that Super Bowl
Okay.
run.
Yeah.
My apologies. Like, years ago, it's hard to remember. But remember what Peyton Manning was called? We consider Peyton Manning an all-time great.
I
right?
don't.
I do.
I can-
I think he's an all-time
Yeah,
great.
he's an
I
all-time
consider
great.
He's an all-time great.
I think he's
talking about.
I think he's overrated. I think he's,
He's won
basic.
3 Super Bowls.
How is
2.
that over? Still, how is that
he won
overrated?
Yeah, that's just nonsense.
Well, for me,
That's a bad take.
I don't think Peyton Manning's that great because his first Super Bowl, he was facing Rex Grossman. Grossman could have had a laser sight, and he still would have missed his receivers by 10 yards. And his second Super Bowl win, that was all defense. He hardly
Yeah,
did
yeah.
anything.
Yeah,
It's true, but Peyton Manning also has one of the best genuinely one of the best, like, literally resumes of a quarterback in NFL history. Like, there's no denying that.
But you could also say a lot of the
Peyton
stuff
Manning-
that Peyton Manning did was in the regular season. What does Lamar Jackson do? Same thing. Lots of great stats in the regular season.
You're not disproving my point.
But the point is, like,
Lamar-
do you consider Lamar Jackson a good quarterback? Yes or no?
I consider him to be overrated, but I consider him to be pretty good.
I think the comparison that I'm trying to spell is that Lamar Jackson is Peyton Manning. The different
But the thing is,
different archetypes, but like, I feel like it's gonna take Lamar's gonna win his Super Bowl one day.
To
But
me,
like, we're talking about early on in Peyton Manning's career, he was known as a choker in the playoffs. He was known as somebody that could not perform in the playoffs. And
That's the thing.
It did take to win against a Ryan Grossman player to finally
Rex
win
Grossman.
one. Right?
But you know what? He won.
That's still
That's
a
all
win.
that matters.
Defense carries to win. That he still win. You could like again, Tom Brady had his defense carry him against the St. Louis Rams. We still consider that a Super Bowl win, right?
Like, at the end of the day, what matters is, does that say a Super Bowl win? Because if it says a Super Bowl win, that's all that matters. And Peyton Manning was once considered a choker until he had that Super Bowl win. And at the end of the day, that's what matters.
And I feel like
I don't agree necessarily with the point that I will defend Spencer here for a moment because let's be honest, Super Bowl 53 is not a real Super Bowl.
Super Bowl
Like
50.
that's not. No, Super Bowl 53.
right.
The
No, it's
one
50.
where it's Patriot.
No,
No,
we're talking
they were
about
talking
Giants or
about-
we're talking Broncos.
no, I'm talking like Patriots real quick, just because I want to defend Spencer's point. Like, let's be honest though, like the Rams and like Patriots Super Bowl 53, the like rematch, that's not a real Super Bowl because like at the end of the day, those weren't the two best teams going up against each other. Think about it that way, because it should have been Chiefs Saints. It should have been that. And
No,
granted,
he was
that's like a
offsides.
one-time thing.
Frank Clark was offsides. But
I don't agree.
It should have been Saints and Patriots. It should have been Saints and Patriots. But again,
Yeah,
I will say
so
there
my-
was a lot of ref ball that I think influenced a lot of games in a very negative way. That's what I will
I do
say.
get where Spencer's. So I do get where Spencer's coming from a bit, because like ultimately sometimes you are coasting off a Super Bowl win, but I also get a Super Bowl ring is a Super Bowl ring. It's really just dependent on how much of an impact you have. Do you consider Antonio Brown's Super Bowl ring given? Probably. Do you consider Le'Veon Bell's Super Bowl ring given?
No.
Yeah.
No.
No. Like, literally, obviously, those are different scenarios. Obviously, not every scenario applies. It'd basically be like, I don't know, like Celtic Shaq getting a title. Obviously,
Or
that is,
the fact that Linval Joseph has a ring with the Giants.
yeah, but
Did you
honestly,
know Linval had a ring?
I did not.
No, I did not know that until then. But yeah, it's like, obviously there is a difference between, a star player winning a Super Bowl and obviously a washed up or, just or in some cases like Antonio Brown, just a literal clown walking his way into a ring. Like, obviously there are big, differences between that. It's just at the end of the day, like, to wrap it all up, like, I think the Lamar and Peyton comparisons are pretty valid. I think there is some good comparisons between the two, but at the same time with Lamar, he's going to have to be the one that proves everyone wrong. He's going to have to be the one that gets that Super Bowl one day to eventually shut his critics up, because I want to see him do it. I'd love to see him do it, but until it happens, the same critics are just going to keep on talking, and they're going to keep on talking about that pass where he threw it into triple coverage.
Yeah, and speaking of, I never did give my answer on whether I think he can do it or not. I don't think he can. And it's nothing against him. I think he's very like athletically gifted. You know, nobody can deny that. Very mobile, able to scramble like very far, and you know, it's just his decision making in the clutch just leaves so much to be desired, and it really doesn't help that unlike Peyton Manning, he doesn't really have an Edgerrin James or a Reggie Wayne or a Marshall Falk. I mean, he does have Dalvin Cook now, but I don't think he's anywhere near the level that of the talent that was on those Tony Dungy Colts. And personally, I think as far as career trajectory, I think he's a bit more like Michael Vick, where you have a dominant athletic guy who just can't squeeze it out in the postseason because, you know, he's good, but he's not good enough to do everything by himself.
And you know, that's why I talked about the receiving core, because it's like, yeah, technically it's the same as, you know, what Mahomes has, but Mahomes has multiple Super Bowls. It's good enough. That receiving core is good enough for him. I don't think the receiving core currently for Lamar is good enough, and I feel like it's been a big problem with the Ravens for so many years now outside of their tight ends. And granted, obviously, I think Zay Flowers does a lot to help fix those issues, because I think he is a wide receiver one caliber guy if he keeps developing like we saw in his rookie season last year. But obviously, you know, obviously we just, you know, gotta see how it plays out with the Ravens, because right now the big question is, are they good enough? Are they good enough in a loaded AFC?
I was gonna bring that up too. In even if like Rodgers retires, they still have, you know, Burrow. You have Allen. You have, you know, Herbert. Mahomes. You have Lawrence. You have Stroud. You have maybe Richardson. You have all these guys.
Mitchumania.
Crazy. But like the thing is, and this is sort of what I've been pondering. Obviously, you never hope someone gets hurt, but like even with like Tom Brady, he got hurt once in a while. Mahomes, I hope he doesn't get hurt, but luck runs out sometime. I guess, and this is sort of off topic, but say there is a Mahomes like a Tom Brady like accident with Patrick Mahomes in Week 1.
Oh no, he got a paper cut.
Who in the AFC will be the? Who in the AFC do you think will be the best quarterback if Mahomes has a Brady like season where he gets hurt and is out for the year?
Joe Burrow.
Deshaun Watson, because God hates us all.
I think, you know, if he's out for the year and then, you know, gets the playoff time and all of that, I personally think Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm. Follow-up question: do you think Lamar Jackson eventually gets traded to an NFC team?
Not yet.
Not yet.
What was your pick,
like...
Jugger?
For what's the question?
Say like Patrick Mahomes has like a Tom Brady-esque injury during that one season where he's out for the year. Who would be the best quarterback in the AFC for that year?
It's Joe Burrow, no questions. Maybe Lamar Jackson squeaks it out though, but I'd say 8 times out of 10 it's gonna be Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just have more confidence if we're going long, like we're looking ahead, like especially given this would probably decide the playoffs. I just have more confidence in a guy like Burrow than I would like a Jackson or an Allen.
I still think it's going to be Deshaun Watson because for some reason when the superstar is out, the football gods just shine their light the brightest on the absolute worst people. Because guess who won the Super Bowl that year when Brady was out?
Yeah, I know.
Who?
Captain Fat Fuck.
Oh.
Against the Cardinals.
I
That was
forgot.
imagine if the Arizona Cardinals won that Super Bowl though. Could you imagine?
I imagine.
That Super Bowl is one of the all-time greats.
I must imagine.
Yeah.
Big Ben would have been, suspended for longer in 2010. Maybe they would have gone for a different quarterback.
But I do want to go back to Luke's hypothetical. If Lamar would get traded to an NFC team, no, I don't think he'll get traded to an NFC team.
At some
we're
point in
talking
his
about the most,
career.
no, I don't think so. I think the most likely quarterback sometime in his career to get traded to an NFC team is Trevor Lawrence, because he just screams. Like the Jaguars are gonna get frustrated with his performance, where he shows flashes of brilliance, but then just some stuff you're just puzzled by him. And I feel like the perfect destination.
Oh my
for
God,
him,
he's going to the Vikings.
You have JJ
I wasn't gonna say the
McCarthy.
Vikings. I wasn't gonna say the Vikings. I was gonna say more the Cowboys after they move on with Dak, because I
Spencer.
feel Jerry would pay.
Spencer,
Yeah, but what?
you have JJ McCarthy. You're free from quarterbacks going to your team for the next 4 years.
You say that, but
I do say no. Because here's the thing. Sam Darnold's gonna start this year. JJ McCarthy's locked in for the next 3 seasons after that. There's no way you're not gonna go to somebody else. You're free from the jokes for minimum.
True, and
3
Kevin
years.
did say today that it's actually a competition for who starts this year. Like, we might see McCarthy week 1.
You could. But I'm just saying the point is, like, I think regardless, this is McCarthy's team for the next 3 seasons at bare minimum. You're spared the jokes for the next 3 years at minimum. Could be a maximum of forever, but at minimum 3 years. 3
Right,
years.
I will say this. I will have a lot to say about the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence when the AFC South comes. However, I feel like it would be best to save my thoughts for then. But yeah, I mean, I will say this. I could see Lamar getting traded one day. It's just, I think it would come in a long time before that happens. It would be a long time before he gets traded. But that's just me.
Well, if we've all got our Raven thoughts out, I think it's time for some ceilings and floors. For me, I mean, Ravens. If everything goes wrong, I guess 8 wins. If everything goes right, like I expect it to, they could win. They could win 14.
My floor for them is 9, and my ceiling for them is 15.
I'm gonna go my floor. I think my floor for them is 9. I think my ceiling is 15.
Floor, if Lamar gets hurt and it's a similar situation to 2021, 2022, then I think the floor would be 8 wins. Ceiling, I'll give them 14. Like, I don't think the Ravens are gonna be as great as last season, considering some of the talent they lost, especially in the coaching sphere. But I think the Ravens will still be, it's a very talented team at the minimum. They'll at the minimum be very talented. So I like what I expect to see from the Ravens. But before I pass it on to whoever else needs to give their predictions, there are 2 things I want to say about the Ravens before we do that. So I was looking at the roster and I found something pretty interesting. I don't know if he's gonna make the active roster for them, but I just saw in their wide receiver core, I saw a name that was pretty familiar to me from last preseason, and that was Malik Cunningham. like Malik Cunningham has made the transition from quarterback to wide receiver, and I just find it interesting because that's pretty interesting to see that. But also, I just find it pretty neat that the guy who basically became the next quarterback at Louisville after Lamar went to the NFL is currently on the same team as him and could actually, if he does well enough, could have Lamar throwing balls to him, which I just think is pretty interesting to think. I think that's pretty neat if that ends up happening. But yeah, I think that was worth noting. And one more thing about the Ravens before I pass it off to somebody else. I just want to say this off topic with this Ravens team, but just rest in peace to Jacoby Jones. Like obviously he passed away in the past week at age 40, and I just growing up as an NFL fan, especially in the early 2010s, I love watching him during that 2012 playoff run. Like obviously the most important piece of that title win was Joe Flacco, but Jacoby Jones had a massive importance to that title win, nearly like just about as important as Joe Flacco was in that playoff run. And I just remembering how great he was in that postseason.
Well, I mean, they don't even get there without Jacoby Jones, I don't think, with that amazing catch over Raheem Moore.
Yeah.
Also, fuck Mike Tomlin for intentionally tripping Jacoby on that one run.
Yeah, I remember that debacle. But yeah, rest in peace, Jacoby.
Jugger, you're our last one.
What's our question again?
Floor ceiling.
Floor ceiling for the Ravens?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh no, I think it's probably just a rerun of last year. I mean, they also just loaded up with, shoot, the guy from the Giants. Why am I forgetting literally everyone today?
It's not your fault, man.
What's his name?
OBJ's not on the team,
Not
that,
OBJ.
right?
No, I'm thinking of I want to say Saquon Barkley.
No, he went to the Eagles.
You're thinking of Derrick
Henry.
Derrick Henry.
Okay, yeah, Derrick Henry. Okay,
from the Titans.
Now I think about. So I just say they're gonna probably finish around 14, 15 wins. Playoffs are what's really important for them, and they have to make it further than last year. You can't keep getting beaten in the. Did they get to the divisional round last year or the championship?
The championship.
Championship. Yeah,
AFC
you got.
title.
Don't think they quite get over the hill without Mahomes is in the way. If it's anyone other than Mahomes, I think they can pull off a Super Bowl run. Basement, like their floor. I mean, probably 10 wins. They're gonna be good.
Yeah.
Here's my bit of a hot take. Oops, I forgot. What were you guys talking about? No, wait. Here's my hot take. I think if the Ravens don't at least get to the Super Bowl this year, Eric DaCosta is going to get fired because I don't think he's been that good at roster construction.
I don't know. I mean, to be fair, I think the Ravens have been very competitive under his entire tenure, and he's been there for a very, actually, goddamn, I think he's been there since the very start of the organization.
I think he was there since 1998, I want to say.
1996 as a player personnel assistant.
Oh, wow. So he might have been there when they were still the Browns.
Let's see, was he?
No, he joined right as they went to Baltimore.
Yeah, right as they became the Ravens. So, yeah, I mean, all I'll say about the front office is I think it will be interesting to see how the front office moves forward, considering I know they lost one of their top guys to the Chargers because obviously with Jim Harbaugh going to the Chargers, I think it kind of made sense that one of them would consider borrowing something from his brother John. So yeah, will be interesting to see what happens with the Ravens front office, but yeah, that is definitely a fact that I didn't know that he's been there that long.
But yeah, that's my one of my hot takes for the night. EDC is on thin ice.
Anywho,
Lastly,
pickup.
but not more importantly, not leastly, Pick'ems
Oh,
gamers.
I thought it was going to be the weather report.
We don't do the weather report anymore.
Weather report, it's hot outside. Look out for hurricanes. There you go.
Yeah,
Yes.
agreed. Okay,
Average
Toronto
Florida.
versus Hamilton. I am taking Toronto.
Hamilton, give me them Tigers. Or them Cats.
Alright, Spencer.
Yeah, give me the Tiger Cats. I don't trust Toronto at all.
Alright, Nick.
I'll go Toronto. Why not?
And Juggerbear, who are you taking?
My mom was an LSU Tigers fan, so I'm going with the Tigers.
Tiger Cats.
Tiger Cats, close enough.
Close
Alright.
enough. Alright, BC, Calgary. I'm taking BC.
I'll take BC.
Spencer.
I'll be different. I'll take the Stampeders.
Nick.
I will take BC.
And Juggerbear.
I'll go BC.
And we got Saskatchewan versus Montreal. I will take Montreal.
Give me the Elks.
Rough Riders.
Rough Riders, whatever.
Spencer.
Yeah, give me a good old Saskatchewan.
Nick.
I'll go Montreal.
And Juggerbear.
Let's go Saskatchewan. I like saying that.
I think what's really funny is saying it wrong. Like,
Just shut your wing.
scratch your wang. Scratch your wang.
I just gotta double check, make sure I have that right. I do. Okay.
Saskatchewan. We
Calgary
don't speak like Tammy Nansen here.
versus Ottawa. I take
I'll tell you what,
Calgary.
I've been up there to Saskatchewan, and they gave me an igloo if I ever wanted to come back.
All right,
Ottawa,
Calgary.
what?
Calgary and Ottawa. I'm taking Calgary.
Give me Ottawa.
Spencer.
Let's go Calgary here.
I'm going with the Red Blacks.
I'm going Ottawa.
All right, thank you all.
Once more, I would like to close out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once more, thank you, Juggerbear, for accepting our invitation, for joining us.
Thank
We
you for
love to
listening
have
my
you on
drunken,
here.
Oh, sorry. Thank you for listening to my drunken stammering.
So do we now call So now do we put in our Twitter bios one of 7?
I think
We need to have a conversation
Yeah,
about that. I reduced it to 1-4 because of the
Okay.
core 4.
Okay.
I think we should do one member of the Untitled Sickcos project. I think that's what we should do for our bios.
Yeah, I don't have enough characters.
Get more characters than you, weenie. You big baby.
No, I'm maxed out with my entire profile description. Like, I'm maxed. Elon, give me more characters for my description, bitch.
Yeah, fuck you, elongated muskrat.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll see you guys. I won't be here next. It's a 50-50, but Spencer will be the host for next week.
Yeah, and I'll instead of 3, 2, 1, and away we go, mine will be and a 1 and a 2 and a chicka boom a chick.
It depends. We'll see who's there's like a 5% chance that I might be hosting in case it is downtown Chilliwack and we're done at like normal time. I'm done at Woodstone. Then it's fine. But if I'm like on the other side, yeah, I probably won't be able to.
I just wanted to let the people know what my introduction cadence is.
So I might not be here for the next 2 weeks. So you will be.
We'll be running the zoo.
Yeah, it won't be this week, but I think was it next week? What is? I want to take a quick look at the calendar. It will
You
be.
said 26 and a
it
bunch of
will-
other weeks.
It was 26 or 28th, but I'm talking for pick'ems wise. That's gonna be our first NFL pick'ems. No, it's the 8th. They play on the 8th, right?
The Hall of Fame game?
Yeah. Houston.
Do we have
No, they play
to?
on the 1st.
They play on the
They
first.
play on the first.
Okay, so that is next week. Yes, we do have to, because we're
Ah.
Sickcos. It's one game, Spencer.
Look, you can be a baby about Twitter bios. I can be a baby about the Hall of Fame game.
Okay.
Bam.
Anyways, I can't wait to see all you hardcore gamblers gamble on.
Please,
And
instead of losing all your money at a gambling facility, personally, I'd rather you take that money and send it to Untitled Sickos Project at gmail.com. You know, again, that's Untitled Sickos Project at gmail.com. Send us your money.
Because we probably will invest it in something else, and it'll be much more valuable than your terrible, terrible parlays.
Shoot, I might give me a
Also-
plastic shredder.
I'm just
Also,
gonna
watch
just
Van-
wheel that to my investment.
Also, watch Van Wilder. I watched it the other day with my family, and I realized that Aaron Paul is in the movie. So there is a connection to Deadpool to Breaking Bad, and that's solely because Ryan Reynolds and Aaron Paul cook meth in Van Wilder.
Well, it's also a connection to BoJack Horseman and that Need for Speed movie. Boy, talk about forgettable video game movies. Anybody here remember Need for Speed the movie?
There was a
I
I think I
remember it
barely
existing.
remember it.
There
I
was
barely remember it existing.
there was a Need for Speed movie. Where have I?
It was kind of a commercial bomb. It came out 10 years ago.
Wow,
Maybe we need to have a movie watch along one of these nights
sometime, some point, probably would
where
be,
we watch Need for Speed 2014.
It would probably be a community community watch along in Discord.
Yeah.
We'd probably
Yeah,
do that.
join the Discord for exclusive benefits like watching
Luke played degenerate Skyrim.
and watching a Need for Speed movie nobody fucking remembers.
Anyways, we'll see you next. Did I put? They should. I did, unless YouTube. No, yeah, it's still there. Yeah. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next. They'll see you next week. Bye. I'll see you guys. I'll see
Bye.
everybody back in August.